What's up, guys? So this is I've gotten a lot of messages from people asking about like Chewy, like what's your sort of like what's a day in the life, like kind of a vlog. Because I've done a couple vlogs on the channel, but a lot of people have asked for like vlogs where I'm just kind of going about my day. So I figured I'd take you guys along through my mornings. So this morning's I have two different mornings right now. I have mornings when I lift, and I have mornings when I don't lift. If I lift, I get to eat a lot of carbs. If I don't eat, if I don't lift, I usually don't get a ton of carbs. But usually on the mornings I don't lift, I do a little bit more reading, a little bit more work here at the house. But if it's a day where I lift, like today, then I'm gonna eat breakfast. I'm gonna lift, or I'm gonna eat breakfast, read, meditate for a minute, take a shower, and then head to the gym to lift. And then I'll take you guys along through that. I'm gonna take you guys along through the whole beginning of my morning here on Friday. And so hopefully you guys get something from this and hopefully enjoy it. So you guys are kind of in the area that I usually work in from the house. So whenever I'm working on, if you get my emails, I usually write them in here, and then obviously my books and everything else. So my morning routine, it's a little abbreviated today because you guys are with me, but showered, ate breakfast, got some water in me. I don't actually, when I lift weights in the morning, I don't like drinking coffee before I lift weights. So I'm actually gonna grab a coffee on the way out, and I'm not gonna drink that coffee until I'm done lifting. I'll talk about why that is later on in the video. But with that said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna head out, we're gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna get my morning lift in, I'll take you guys through that, and then we'll get some training in. And obviously you guys will probably notice that I'm not as I'm not as like as high energy yet, because it's still the morning. This is kind of like normally I don't like bringing people into this stuff because this is kind of my time. For the first few hours of my day is usually my time, it's mine. I don't really talk to anybody, I don't really do anything else. I'll just do whatever it is I need to get done. So it's my time to recharge, because I spend most of my days usually training, teaching people, essentially giving myself, my energy away to other people. And so in the mornings, I really protect that time as sacred and make sure that I keep it so that it's a chance for me to kind of recharge. But I'm making an exception today, so you guys get to be with me. We're gonna go ahead and head to the gym now, and I'll take you guys through my workout. This probably has to be the most boring vlog for some people, because I've watched vlogs before, and like people are so like, hey YouTube, they're so hyper, but it's still early for me. So I usually, like I said, my body is not meant. My body's not like used to being energetic at this time. Usually I don't have to be energetic till about 10:30 when I do jiu-jitsu class, but from about 7 till about 10 I'm just usually low key. So I did get some questions from you guys, so I put it up on Instagram earlier today, last night rather, and so I'm gonna go through here and answer some of your questions once I get some blood flow going. It's a press workout today, so it's a push, so it's gonna be a lot of pushing with the upper body. And then the type of program that I'm actually on right now, like it's funny because someone was asking me like why I decided to lose weight. And I started losing weight not because of a weight class, but because I simply was just trying to look better with my clothes off, right? I was just trying to get a little bit leaner, just because I was looking around, and everybody during COVID has kind of done this, and I'm kind of just a contrarian at times. So I was like, I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna slim on down. And I haven't been super lean in a while, and so I figured I would just get leaner. And then it just so happened that a tournament popped up that I wanted to do, and I was already kind of low anyway, so I figured, well, why not? I'll just kind of go in and do the weight class lower than I usually compete at. So that's why I'm doing that. But as far as the workout though, the workout again kind of goes back to sheer vanity's sake. It's more of a bodybuilding style program, so it's going to be a lot of time under tension, a little bit more volume. The weight's not going to be very heavy today, and so just so you guys know that as you guys kind of watch me get through things. But right now I'm warming up, and whenever I do any sort of push workout with my upper body, I like to make sure that my back muscles and my pulling muscles are warmed up, so this way when I'm pushing, it helps kind of lock everything in place, because especially like when you're doing any pressing, you want to be able to like lock that back into place. And so these pull parts usually help they usually do the trick as far as getting those muscles activated and turned on. So, and as part of the routine that I'm following, I'm trying to get my arms to be a little bit bigger. again, just vanity. And the guy has me doing what he calls speeder sets. So before I do any pushing, I'm gonna start by getting my arms pumped, doing the opposite muscle. So on the push days, I get my biceps going. On the pull days, get my triceps going on. Not very heavy weight. Just gonna get a quick pump into it before we get into the pushing. So I got a couple questions about people that are wanting to start, and they're asking if they have any tips for people that are starting completely new to jiu-jitsu. You know, there's a bunch of them. There's like 3 or 4 of them today on Instagram. So really simple advice, just get started. A lot of times people, like whenever they get into something new, they always want to overthink it and think about every little thing. Well, what if I could do this? And you know, if I was in better shape, and if I was in this, that, you know, they think about way too many things. Just get started. Just get started and be ready to train consistently for a while, a long time before you get good at it. But just get started and don't think about it too much, because again, you'll learn everything you need to learn when you're getting started with training with your coaches and everything else. So that's just straight up time under tension. That's like 2 to 3 seconds down, pause at the bottom, pause at the top. So again, you'll notice that the weight, but besides me losing weight and getting lighter and losing a little bit of strength, you'll also notice that the weights are relatively light, because we're not really going for power here, so mostly just to get the muscles to show a little bit more. So I got a question from Nushi on Instagram, and she says, how do you stay motivated to follow a routine? Don't you get bored? That's always an interesting thing, because people talk about motivation and all that stuff. But here's what I figured out. This is my thinking about it, or at least how it's been worked with me. Motivation a lot of times it almost has like a momentum quality to it, inertia, if you will, right? Where once you start doing something, like for instance, when I'm losing this weight right now, I wasn't really motivated to cut out all the foods out of my diet, but what happened was as I started losing weight, I got excited, I got motivated, and so it became a lot easier to maintain the diet and cut out all that stuff that I was doing. So it's kind of the same way, where a lot of times you decide that you're going to do something, and you get doing it, and a lot of times the motivation comes on the back end. So you know, a lot of times people sit around and they wait for the motivation, and they're waiting for the motivation to hit them. And what ends up happening to me is a lot of times is once I get moving, then the motivation follows. I create my motivation, and as I get the ball rolling, it just kind of keeps going. And so as far as being bored, I don't get bored when I see results. So if something's going in a good direction, then it's easy to do. It's easy to stay with it, because I see the fruits of my labor, right? Like when I'm training and I'm drilling, sure, the drilling can be monotonous, but then when I'm hitting the techniques on everybody during rolling or in a competition, it's worth it. Eating the same foods every day on a routine, maybe it's a little boring, but the results are what I want, so therefore it's what I'm going to do, and that's the results help keeps me motivated. So. So here's one from Carve Mark on Instagram. He says, what is a good weekly schedule for a jiu-jitsu hobbyist to mix in weight training as a part of a training program? So it's kind of like a diet, right? Where you're only going to get the benefit of a diet if you do a diet for a long time. Like if you go on a diet for a week, it doesn't really mean anything. But if you're on that diet for like months, well then that's something, right? And then years, even better. And so with a weight training program mixed with jiu-jitsu and everything else, it really comes down to what you can stick to. So if that means that you come in and you do jiu-jitsu, 5 days a week, and then you're training lifting 5 days a week, and then about 3 weeks later you're injured or you're just burned out, that's not going to help you. But if you can maintain 2 days a week lifting with 3 days a week of jiu-jitsu, and you can maintain that for years to come, that's going to be more beneficial for you. So don't look to get kind of like a made to fit answer for you, because you're going to be unique to your own circumstances. And so what you should probably do is find a program for lifting, and then try to mix it into your routine, and then see how it feels. If it feels good and you feel like you can maintain it, then keep going. And then If you can't, then back off a little bit. The one thing I would say is if you're not used to lifting and you add a lifting routine into your training with jiu-jitsu, you're going to be a little bit more banged up in the beginning because your body's adjusting to the lifting just like it does with jiu-jitsu. So I'd probably maybe during that first couple weeks while you're getting used to your lifting program, ease off of jiu-jitsu just a little bit. And then once you kind of get acclimated to the lifting, then add the jiu-jitsu, you know, you can up the intensity or the volume back up. But again, it goes back to what you can adhere to, because consistency, long-term consistency is what it's about. It's not about short-term intensity. So find a program that works for you, that feels pretty good for your body, and then just maintain that. All right, guys, so just finished my workout. Now, I don't think we included every single workout or every single lift that I was doing, but now it's time for my post-workout meal, so meal number 2. What I'm eating right now is this stuff, cream of rice. So super, super easy to digest. I'm gonna mix it with some whey protein. And you know, everybody's got a different ability as far as with food, about how they manage their ability to eat and then train. I can eat this stuff that I'm about to eat, and I can go lift like, you know, in like 30, 40 minutes, and I'll feel fine. So, or not lift, but roll. So I'm gonna eat this, and then we'll be rolling in about an hour, and I'll feel good to go. So I'm gonna have this, and I'm also gonna have coffee, which again, most people have coffee and like caffeine before they work out. For me, I've kind of grown, I've grown to kind of like it afterwards. There's a couple reasons for this. One is that it for some reason it tastes better. I tell this to my girlfriend all the time. I call it earned coffee because I earned my my drug use. I mean, you know, coffee's a drug. So that, and also if you look at some of the things that caffeine can do. For instance, after I'm done working out, it'll help shuttle in the nutrients a little bit faster into the body. So if you drink caffeine while you're taking in your food, like post-workout, you don't have to do a full cup of coffee or anything like that. Which I'm not going to do before class. So I'm going to have about a half a cup before class and half a cup afterwards. But about a half a cup of coffee before, or you know, you can use caffeine in whatever source you want to. But a little bit of caffeine post-workout with food, it helps speed up the ability for the body to absorb the nutrients, from what I've read and what I understand. So that's one of the other reasons why I'm gonna have coffee after the workout. But I'll show you what I'm making here. I'm gonna make it with cream of rice, and then I'm gonna show you once it's done cooking, I'll show you what I put into it. All right, so put a little cinnamon in there, and I'm gonna put about 2 scoops of protein. We don't know that. Which will give me about 50 grams of protein. It's got a little vanilla going. And then I'm gonna eat this, drink my coffee, and then I'm gonna head out to the mats and get a little rolling in. And again, the purpose of this post-workout meal is that cream of rice is super easy to digest, right? So it's almost just rice, but super easy to digest. And then the protein, whey protein, is also easy to digest. Protein does not bother me one bit, especially the whey protein doesn't. It's very easy. It's a whey isolate, you know. So anyway. But I'll put this together, and it's easy to digest. You can always substitute with a vegan protein or something if it's easier, or a plant-based protein. And after that, I'm gonna jump out on the mat and get some rolling in, and then we'll wrap this thing up. And I think today, just because we're just kind of doing the first half of the day, we'll end this day with meal number 3, which will be my post-jiu-jitsu training session meal, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, welcome back. As you can see, I'm now more and more awake compared to I was this morning. So, you know, this video is like absolutely raw, uncut. It's cut, but it's raw and just sort of real, right? I'm not trying to put on a fake. Blah. Anyway, let's get to third meal. So, third meal after training today, because I lifted first, I'm gonna go ahead and have some spinach. I'm gonna throw that in there, cook it down, and then I'll have chicken. Again, everything is weighed. So this way I know I'm getting the exact amount of protein that I want in the meal. Boom, there we go. And then we'll get some white rice. I love white rice. It's easy for my body to digest. Most of my carbs either come from white rice, oats, cream of rice, or even sweet potatoes or regular potatoes. But I get a bit of rice, get the stuff going. Boom, perfect, right on the money. All right, so now I'm gonna put this in the microwave to heat up. I don't necessarily love the microwave, but heat it up. And then I'll have this with a little bit of avocado for fats. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the last little bit. I'm gonna add some avocado. And while I'm adding this avocado, the last question of the day that I'll answer is from, doesn't have his name, it's a big bunch of numbers from Instagram. It says, are barbells or dumbbells better? Pros and cons of each. Neither one is better. They both have pros and cons. If you were watching the video today, you probably saw that I was using for the most part, the bulk of my focus was with dumbbells. I do that mainly because it's easier on my shoulders from years of doing jiu-jitsu and lifting weights and stuff like that. Especially when I was younger, I didn't lift, a lot of my pressing was not done properly. Like, for instance, with a bench press, I would go way too wide out instead of keeping it at a good, just outside shoulder width and making sure that I get that 45-degree angle in my presses, like doing bench press. And so my shoulders kind of took a beating in the process. And because of that, I tend to focus on dumbbells a little bit more because they tend to feel a little bit easier on the shoulders. And so I like dumbbells for that reason. I also like being able to focus on just the arms itself, like one at a time, instead of being able to use the barbell. But that said, I like the barbell too. And if you're like talking about like overloading and really developing strength, I think that the barbell is going to typically be better off for maximal strength gains. I mean, if you're going to get your barbell squats going and your barbell bench presses and overhead presses and all this stuff, deadlifts, I think that the barbell is where it's at. Now, I've got this in there. I'm gonna go weigh out my avocado. A couple of you guys saw this meal yesterday on Instagram and you're like, what is it? I'm like, it's simple, it's just avocado and chicken and rice. But that's that. That is my meal. Post-training, that's what I'm eating. So you guys have hung out with me for a few hours now. You kind of know what I do, and I'm going to add a little salt and pepper, especially after training. I like adding a good amount of salt to rehydrate. So you guys have kind of an idea as to what I do on my days where I lift early in the morning. This isn't always my morning schedule. Sometimes I do more a longer meditation session. I'll do more writing and reading in the morning. This morning was a little bit of a quick read. Quicker meditation session, and then afterwards just getting to the gym and lifting, and then now I'm going to eat, and now I'm going to go and finish up some reading, and then I got some work that I have to get done. So today I've got to do some work, and I'm headed off to do the podcast. So it'll be a busy day, and then after Fridays, typically I just do whatever for the rest of the weekend. So I work really, really hard and train hard during the week, and on the weekends I train a little bit and just kind of relax a little bit and that whole thing. So anyway, hope this was enjoyable to you. If you guys want to see more vlogs, if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, throw them down in the links, or not in the links, but the comments below, and maybe we can do another one. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys next time.